National Federation of the Blind. Live the life you want.
So today, what we're making, we call them Buzzy Bees. They're made with a popsicle stick, a 3x5 card, 2 eraser caps, a rubber band, and a piece of string. And if I was in a classroom or with a group of kids, I would actually pass it around and show it so they could see what the finished product looks like. So I'm going to hold it up and I'm going to describe it. This is the finished product. It has the 3x5 card is stapled to the popsicle sticks. The eraser caps, it's folded in half and stapled to the popsicle stick. The eraser caps are on either end of the popsicle stick with the rubber band stretched across, and then there's a string tied to it. Now I'm going to stand up and I'm going to let you hear what it sounds like. So this is what we're making. My office is small and I'm trying to show while I spin. So that is what we're doing. The finished product. So the first thing you want to do, you want to take your 3x5 card and fold it in half like a hamburger. So the two shortest sides will be touching. So now it's folded. And then you take your popsicle stick and you put it into the fold of your 3x5 card. So my 3x5 card has turned from a long rectangle into almost like a square with a popsicle stick inside the fold. And then I'm going to staple as close to the popsicle stick as I can get twice, one on either end of the small square on the side where the popsicle stick is. Now I have two staples in it. Can you see those? And so the staples are alongside the popsicle stick. And so it holds the 3x5 card into place. So the 3x5 card cannot slide around. But this, since it's folded, it has two flaps that open at the bottom. Any questions at this point? I'm going to take a cap eraser and put it on either end of the popsicle stick. So now we have a popsicle stick that has two erasers on it, on the ends, and the 3x5 card stapled to it. Next, I have string.
So Emily, when you put the cap erasers on,
Yes.
Are you putting them on the very ends, or are you putting them, so like the curved part, or are you putting them on the flat sides?
So cap erasers are meant to fit on the top of a pencil. Mm-hmm. So the whole of them fits almost perfectly directly on the curved end of a popsicle stick.
Perfect.
So each curved end of the popsicle stick has a eraser cap on it now. And now I've chosen one side of the popsicle stick. Between the cap eraser and the 3x5 card, there is a little space. And I'm going to tie a string in that little space. It's about less than a half an inch on either side between the cap eraser. I'm going to tie it as tight as I can so the string doesn't move around. Now I have a string tied on the edge, but you'll notice it has a long string hanging and it has a little short end of what I tied. And I want to clip this end off because to make that buzzing noise, the card and the rubber band have to vibrate. And if there's a little piece of string hanging out, they don't vibrate as well. So now I have a long string. You want to do a better job clipping it off than I did because it just came untied. But it's important that it's not in the way once you put your rubber band on. because if it's in the way, it's not going to make any noise. That's one of the issues that we sometimes have, is that sometimes this long string gets in the way of the rubber band and it doesn't buzz. Another issue that we have is if you don't separate your 3x5 cards slightly, it won't buzz. So you want the string to be coming off above the 3x5 card. So the 3x5 card is hanging down below and the string is coming up straight up from the top. Then you take your rubber band and you want to place it on the cap erasers. But the best way to do that is to slip it on the 3x5 card so it's loosely sitting on the 3x5 card, and then stretch each end individually out over your cap erasers. And so when you're done, it will be stretched across the cap erasers almost like a guitar string. It's stretched taut and you can snap it. So with that, remember the string is coming out through the top, so it's not in the way of the rubber band. And then when you spin it, I can get my chair out of the way. You have a bee. This is a quick, easy project made with stuff just around the house. I made it very quickly because I've made these many, many times. However, this can take quite a while because it has so many different concepts involved with folding and stapling, tying a knot.
And all of these skills that we're working on in this quick little lesson are skills that are going to be useful in all kinds of different places. Stapling is useful for all kinds of arts and crafts, but also when kids get into high school for things like term papers. You know, once you start doing all of these things, it's important to have some of these base skills. And what a fun way to learn how to do them, by making a bee that is tactile and buzzes and does all these cool things.
Are there any other questions? Should I make another one, Karen?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Okay. So again, we take our 3x5 card, you fold it in half like a hamburger. So the two shortest sides, the smallest width of sides, are touching. Then you slip a popsicle stick into the fold. Then you want to staple it so it's as close to the popsicle stick as you can get it. So it holds the popsicle stick and the 3x5 card together. Like that. You do not want the 3x5 card to move once it's on the popsicle stick. So if you staple it close enough, it will be quite tight. The next step is to take a cap eraser and place it on both ends of the popsicle stick. So you place those cap erasers on the curved end, and there's the opening is small enough that they also are quite tight. They're stuck on there and do not come off. You want to tie a piece of string so it goes between the 3x5 card and the cap eraser. There's a small space of popsicle stick, and the string should go directly in that space. So if you want to tie a square knot right there, that's a good skill just for tying shoes. The first step. And then you'll have a short and a long string left over. You want to clip that short string off so it doesn't get in the way. Then you have a long string and it comes coming off directly straight up while your 3x5 card is hanging out. Last step is you want to put a rubber band onto the cap erasers. The easiest way to do this is to slip it down over the 3x5 card and then stretch it out over the cap erasers so it's taut, so it will snap. Almost like a guitar string. And this is the part that is vibrating and buzzing when you're spinning your bee. So you want to make sure it's taut and there's nothing that is kind of rubbing on it or touching it, because then it won't buzz as well. That's why you want that string to stick up the top while the 3x5 card is down below. So finally, spin it. And it buzzes like a bee. And every single one of these I've ever made, they all buzz differently because of the length of the string, the shape of the rubber band, the way you did your staples. So they all sound different. It's kind of fun.
It's a great way.
You could decorate the card too. That would be fun.
Yeah, I was just going to say that was a suggestion.
Like a bee.
And the different sound is a great way to sort of, if you have multiple kids making them, it's a great way to distinguish between whose is whose and get kids to listen
right,
for
and
that.
you can also talk about sound waves and vibrations, and that's why they sound different. So you could absolutely turn it into a science lesson.
All right. Thanks, Emily. Thank you for showing us how to make a fun bee. We're going to be doing these lessons every Thursday at 11 o'clock Eastern. And next week, we are going to be making scented Play-Doh with just things that you should have in your kitchen. So I think that's going to be a really fun lesson. This is also going to be, the recording of this lesson is also going to be made available for everybody. And we will let people know when that is out. If you want more information about some of the distance learning activities, the learning from your living room activities that we at the National Federation of the Blind are putting together, please email me at kanderson, so that's KANDERSON, at nfb.org. And we're putting together and putting out quite a few really fun things. So you also probably want to follow us on social media. On Facebook, we're National Federation of the Blind. On Twitter and Instagram, we are at NFB_voice. And keep an eye on those for some of the other fun activities that we are working on and putting together.
Well, I just wanted to say that, if you have any feedback or if you have any ideas for future lessons, we would love to hear from you. We want to do things that you want, and we want to do fun, interactive lessons that you can do at home that you're interested in, and not just things that we think are fun.
Absolutely. And please email if there are things that you're not sure how to do with your blind kids during this time when people aren't in school. If you have questions or lesson suggestions, either one, you can email me those at the same address, kanderson@nfb.org.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Emily and Karen. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody, and I hope you'll join us next week for Scented Play-Doh.
Thank you so much. You guys are awesome.
And send us pictures of your bees as you make them, guys. We'd love to see those.